Hello there. The Prime Minister's top advisor, Dominic Cummings, has got his own way and is now setting up a Skunkworks in number 10 Downing Street to think outside the box on policy. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost. And I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. Back in January, Dominic Cummings wrote a post on his blog saying that we want to hire an unusual set of people with different skills and backgrounds to work in Downing Street with the best officials, some as special advisors and perhaps some as officials. If you are already an official and you read this blog and think you fit one of these categories, get in touch. And he said he was looking for an unusual mix of people to bring analytical and scientific expertise to government that is currently lacking. Unusual software engineers and economists were on the shopping list, as were great project managers. All part of the sweeping changes in Whitehall to come. I don't want confident public school bluffers, he wrote. I want people who are much brighter than me, who can work in an extreme environment. If you play office politics, you will be discovered and immediately binned. And also, we need some true wildcards, artists, people who never went to university and fought their way out of an appalling hellhole. As well as, if you want to figure out what characters around Putin might do, or how international criminal gangs might exploit holes in our border security, you don't want more Oxbridge English graduates who chat about Lacan at dinner parties with TV producers and spread fake news about fake news. But a team like that would need to be led, and that is what Cummings is now looking for, someone who can head up a number 10 analytical unit. And lo and behold, up pops a job advert on the civil service job site for someone to fill a 2-year post as head of number 10 analytical unit. It looks like number 10 is getting its own version of the James Bond character Q, as played so well by Desmond Llewellyn, the behind-the-scenes brain box that conjured up the pocket aqualung, radio pens and various exploding gadgets. You can just imagine him turning round to Boris and saying, "Oh, do grow up, Prime Minister." And now number 10 will have an equivalent unit for policy analysis and advice. Now I wonder if Dominic Cummings himself has submitted an application for the job. After all, he's the one that knows the most about it, isn't he? This high-pressure looking job comes with a salary of £100,000 to £135,000 a year. And existing civil servants will be appointed in line with the civil service pay rules in place on the date of their appointment. But external candidates can expect a salary of up to £135,000 per annum, dependent on experience, but more may be considered for an outstanding candidate. The job is a reserve post, so is only open to candidates who are UK nationals and who can pass a disclosure and barring security check. And candidates have until 5 minutes to midnight on the 27th of this month to apply for what is described as an opportunity to transform how we use data across government. And it looks like the whole application and selection process will be over by the end of August. Within the job application pack, Martin Reynolds, Principal Private Secretary to the Prime Minister, wrote, "As head of the unit, you will need to be able to advise the Prime Minister at pace and with judgment, bringing excellent analytical skills and strategic thinking to the job. You will be a leader who can seek to build out a new culture and help to empower those within the team to achieve bold, ambitious goals, while engaging senior stakeholders across Whitehall, and to be a technical leader to ensure that all analytical work is world-class." Now the unit itself is called 10 Data Science or 10DS and is described as a pseudo-startup within Number 10 designed to drive forward the quantitative revolution. The current plan is to establish a data engineering team, data science team, a Skunkworks, and an analytical deep dive unit. The one-word term Skunkworks means a small and loose team that has a high degree of autonomy and is unconstrained by bureaucracy, that researches and develops radical solutions. The origins of the term are in the Lockheed Martin Skunkworks, that's 2 words though, advanced development programs. Anyway, apart from setting up the team and pushing their projects through, it gives an example of the sort of thing they will be tasked with. For example, you will expect to advise on the PM's priority decisions where analysis is critical, such as how to optimally achieve net zero. Now, I'm assuming that means net zero carbon emissions. But they might find themselves more involved in the short term with working out how to turn the population they've convinced must stay hidden indoors until there's a net zero pandemic into a work, play, spend and consume hungry horde. The post holder also has the responsibility for scientific method. This role focuses on reaching the right answer based on the best available data. As such, this role prioritises data interpretation, not data fitting. Now, what right answer? The right answer for the country and its people, or the right answer for the Prime Minister and the government? They are not the same thing. And one assumes that this unit will be tasked politically, based on the contents of the incumbent government party manifesto. Now, it also says in the application pack, you will need to be a very strong communicator with other analysts and non-analysts across Whitehall. Which leads neatly into the next responsibility, that of storytelling. A crucial part of this role will be to take complex analysis and build out a concise world view from which decision makers can make decisions, i.e., the ability to take an extremely complex mathematical and scientific proposal understood by big-brained specialists and convert it into a one-paragraph Janet and John bit that could even be understood by a Labour frontbench politician. But a Janet and John explanation that basically has 2 answers, one with a cross next to it and one with a tick. Otherwise, how will backbench MPs know how to vote? All sounds like a semi-controlled wacko think tank with massive amounts of power. But if that's what it takes to break the back of the current establishment power, then maybe that's exactly what's needed. I also wonder how much behind-the-scenes manoeuvring there's been by civil service mandarins to try and stymie this project. Yet another reason to keep pressing the media and the police to look again at the trip Cummings and his family took to self-isolate on his father's property in Durham at the height of the lockdown. And right now there are reports in the press about how Michael Gove and Dominic Cummings are the real powers behind the Boris Johnson throne, with the Telegraph reporting, the Cabinet Office Minister has joined forces with his former special advisor to lead a Whitehall shake-up to take control of the blob. But The Guardian is running with a story about Gove and Cummings saying, the Cabinet Office has awarded an £840,000 contract to research public opinion about government policies to a company owned by 2 long-term associates of Michael Gove and Dominic Cummings, without putting the work out for tender. Now, the government says all the work was pandemic-related, so this would be allowed under the COVID emergency rules. But The Guardian and the independent global media organisation Open Democracy claim a portion of the work that this company did was on Brexit. I don't know which side is right, but it is another attack on Dominic Cummings. And the attacks will keep coming while the left-wing establishment and press think they can get rid of the Cummings threat to their entrenched seat of power within the UK civil service. And while that power base persists, it won't matter which party is in power. We will always have an extensive EU-loving socialist presence at the heart of Westminster. And the bulk of the hierarchy will not like this Skunkworks one little bit, as they see it as their job to give the PM the options after due work and analysis. Having a competing unit sat in the same office as the PM will not go down well with them at all. Now, there had been talk that a non-civil servant might be brought in to take over the Cabinet Office once Mark Sedwill has gone. But it looks like the Mandarins won that one, because the job application for the new Cabinet Secretary and the head of the Civil Service says, applications are being invited from current and former permanent secretaries. So maybe that's why this new head of Skunkworks is being sought, to try and put some balance into number 10. And maybe the Skunkworks will be there to hunt out the skunks in the Westminster system. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it. So what do you think about this Skunkworks? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.